Hi everyone and welcome to my channel where I'm trying to figure out how to be more sustainable and still enjoy life, which means being realistically sustainable, not idealistically, because perfectionism is not a good thing. It's not long term. Anyway, in today's video I want to talk about where to buy secondhand items. In my previous video, which you probably watched already, I talked about all the things I actually buy secondhand instead of buying new and why I'm doing this, how I'm saving money, environment, and get other benefits of using secondhand items. And I was asked by several people, where exactly do I buy things, especially in certain categories. For example, where do I buy secondhand electronics? Where is it safe to buy secondhand cars, and so on. So in my today's video, I'm going to talk specifically about places like services, internet websites, and apps where you can look for secondhand items. I will be talking about services that primarily here in America, because that's where I live and that's where my experience is. But since lots of my subscribers are from all over the place, there are a bunch of people living in Europe and other parts of the world. If you also know some similar services in your particular country, please leave a comment. Just say, like, for example, Norway, and just list the names of the services. Because I know people always come and ask me, oh, maybe do you know some similar services in Europe? No, I don't, because I don't live there. But other people can use your comment, and maybe I can even create a catalog of all the countries and all the places and post it to my website. Yes, I actually have a website, isitsustainable.co. Anyway, let's start with actual websites and actual topic of this video. I'm gonna also talk about specific categories, but let's start in general. Where do I go when I need something secondhand? My number one place to go, as well, I guess, for lots of people, is still Craigslist. I think in the recent years, Craigslist kind of cropped out a little bit. There are lots of scammers there and resellers, so there is not so much stuff there, but you can still buy things, especially if you live in a big city and there are lots of people selling things. And also, for those who don't know, in Craigslist, they also have a free stuff category, so sometimes you can buy some household items for free there. Obviously the best stuff goes quickly, as well as not only the free one but also the one that's sold, because usually there are resellers who are hunting for items and they usually snatch items pretty quickly. That's why my number one life hack with Craigslist, if you're looking for particular items, for example, you want to buy a snowboard, go there, type it in, all the all the information if you're looking for a particular brand or something else, and save the search, and also make sure that Craigslist is sending you email notifications. Because my experience tells me that if something will be posted on Craigslist and it's high quality, in a good condition and good price, it will be snatched quickly. So you want to be notified by email so you can actually immediately reply to the seller and at least kind of like reserve the item for yourself. I also know that recently Craigslist launched an app, so I guess you can also get push notifications. I haven't used this app yet. If you did, let me know in the comments, but I guess this option exists. Besides Craigslist, which is really old school and also you have to meet people in person most of the time, and there are scammers as well, there are also other newer websites where things can be shipped to you, and I actually really like it. And especially if somebody lives like far from the big cities, you might not even have thrift stores, you might not have any people posting anything on Craigslist, so it's really convenient. I know at least 3 websites that sell secondhand items and those items can be shipped to you. This is OfferUp, Mercari, and the third one is LetGo. I have experience both selling and buying things on OfferUp and Mercari. I haven't actually had success. I mean, I didn't use much LetGo, but I know this thing also exists. Basically, there you can find lots of different items. For example, I bought my Kindle from OfferUp, I think. Unfortunately, they don't have the biggest selection of items. And again, you have to hunt for items, like sometimes things can go away quickly, but you can still use it as an option. Another place where you can look for secondhand items, and I use this place a lot, especially when I lived in Indonesia, this is it's Facebook Marketplace, or also dedicated groups within Facebook. For example, when I lived in Bali, we had this huge community that was called Bali Buy and Sell, and if you needed to sell something or buy something secondhand, you would do it really quickly just by going there and posting your item. I mean, there again, you have to meet people in person, and it depends on the place, how actively people living in your area using Facebook Marketplace or the dedicated group, but at least it's worth checking out. Maybe you never even considered this thing. Especially I think for household items like furniture, like kitchen appliances and other things, there is so much stuff on Marketplace, so it's worth using. Let's talk also about not only used items, but the items that are refurbished as well as open box, so they're like super slightly used. Where do I go for these items? If you're talking about electronics, I usually go to BestBuy page, find the item I'm looking for, and then there is this little box that says, and then there is this little area where it says like if any open box items available in your particular area. Unfortunately, I didn't have much success with finding something in my particular area. I don't know, maybe people just buy things quickly, but at least it's worth checking. And every time I'm looking for certain electronics, I always check this open box thing. The website, I mean the service where I had the most success finding slightly used and refurbished items is actually Amazon. I'm not a big fan and supporter of Amazon, but the truth is that it's quite widespread as well. It's quite widespread, and usually you can find so much stuff there. So in terms of refurbished or secondhand, like slightly used items on Amazon, so you find the particular listing, and then you go to the area in the right corner, especially if you do, right sidebar. If you do from desktop, there is the area where you can buy used. Make sure you check the shipping, because it might increase the final price, plus you will be paying obviously taxes as well. But actually all the services that are shipping things to you, they are charging taxes, which sucks. Better meet somebody in person from Craigslist or other places and not pay the tax. But it is what it is. Anyway, so Amazon, they have lots of refurbished items, and for me, like lots of kitchen appliances, some gadgets for home. We usually try to buy open box and refurbished from Amazon. One thing that I actually like about Amazon, as much as I don't dislike many other things, you kind of feel secure buying things there. If the item arrives and something is wrong with it, it's so easy to return. You can just drop it off. They always return you for anything. Like one thing that's good about Amazon, like you can feel pretty safe shopping there, even when it comes to refurbished or used items. Another way to look for refurbished items, especially if it's electronics, sometimes I just go to Google and I type buy blah blah blah, depends what I'm looking for, refurbished, and then I go to the tab shopping and look at all the snippets and look and see if any standalone websites offer any used items. Obviously, if it's some website that you don't know about, especially like let's say I buy some camera gear, I haven't heard about this website, it's worth doing the research, double checking what are reviews about these sites, make sure they're not scammy, make sure they are not very like bad in terms of customer support and stuff like that. Anyway, let's talk about particular categories. I would start with electronics, because this is, I guess, the biggest category for me personally. Lots of things like cell phones, like iPads, gadgets, cameras, you can buy from the website called Swappa. They really make sure that people are not scammy there. Plus, you can actually see if this particular profile had a previous review. So if it's somebody scammy, they either are kicked out from the service or somebody would leave them a bad review. I bought, I think, 2 phones on Swappa in the whole history of myself using the service. Also, I bought, I think, iPod and iPad from there, and some other stuff, I think camera or lenses. Also, I sold stuff from Swappa. For example, I sold my old laptop there as well. So I really like Swappa because you can things can be shipped to you, and I feel like pretty safe about using the service because I have good experience with it. Actually, with all the services I mentioned so far, I never had bad experience. Okay, let's talk about secondhand clothes. Obviously, you can go to the thrift store, but not everyone has a thrift store. And people often ask me, where do I shop secondhand clothes online? So here in America, and actually some of these websites are from Europe, are available in Europe as well. These are the websites Poshmark, Depop, as well as ThredUp. I bought things from Poshmark and Depop. I haven't bought anything from ThredUp, and I don't really like ThredUp for some reason. And the cool thing about these websites, you can not only buy things there, you can also sell your own stuff there. I will probably make a separate video about that one day. So these websites, you can obviously shop from all over the world almost, people will be shipping things to you. If you're looking into more like designer brands, like luxurious items, I know there is a website called Vestiaire Collective or something like this. I haven't bought anything there, but I have some friends who sold and bought items from this website. I think if you're into designers items for some reason, it's a great way to save money because sometimes these items are barely used. Also, some websites, like for example Urban Outfitter, they have a section of their website where they sell secondhand items. It's called Urban Renewal. So like if there is a particular brand you like, make sure that you actually checked with them. Maybe they have a secondhand section, because the secondhand market of clothes is really growing, and I'm sure more and more brands will try to make money of it, and they will create a secondhand market within their own like ecosystem. I'm not sure if it's a good or bad thing, because they might just abuse the system, basically send some new items there because people don't know what's new, what's not. I don't like these fast fashion brands doing this, but it is what it is. Another website I want to mention here, it's not a website where you can buy things, but it's actually the website where you can rent clothes. For example, you need something for a special occasion. It's called Rent the Runaway or something like this. So instead of buying some dress or some, I don't know, suit that you're only going to wear once, you can just rent it from there and send it back. It's not exactly thrifted or secondhand, but it's kind of in the same category. Let's talk about sport gears as well as clothing item related to sports. One of my favorite brands is Patagonia, and these guys have the whole section of their website where people can send their items that are used and you can buy it from there. It's called Patagonia Used, and I will link as well below. But the cool thing about Patagonia, also other websites like Poshmark or Depop, you can also find some items from Patagonia there. If you're talking about the sport gear, like hiking equipment, camping equipment, we bought a bunch of stuff off Craigslist because we live here in North Cal. I guess lots of people just buying things and selling it. But also lots of the websites like Ray, they actually sell secondhand items. And also there are websites, I forgot their names, but I'm gonna list them here, that are specifically, focusing on selling the secondhand sport gear. Let's talk about cameras, video and photo equipment in case somebody is interested in that area as well. The biggest places where you can buy more or less safely the secondhand equipment. Obviously you can find lots of stuff on Craigslist. You have to just make sure you check before you buy it. It's a good quality item. You can also find a bunch of stuff on Swappa, as I mentioned already before. And there are also websites that are dedicated to photo and video equipment. For example, it's Adorama. It's one of the biggest ones. You can also sell your own gear. And the way how it works, they create a shipping label for you. You send this stuff to them, they appraise it, they tell you how much money it potentially can cost, and they pay you 70% of that listing price. If you don't want to sell with them, they're gonna just ship everything back to you for free, so it's kind of convenient. So Adorama, you can buy used stuff there. If you go to beach photo, they have a section on their website, it's called used. There is also other websites like Care and Photo something Peach, and some other websites I will list, as all websites I will list down below because I forgot a couple of names. Cars, where to buy second-hand cars. Obviously you can try with Craigslist. I don't know how safe it is. The best way to buy a second-hand car in America, at least, is to go through rental places. So every rental company like Enterprise or Hertz, I don't know, they're going out of business, I think, and other companies, they usually sell their fleet after it's used a while. And then although most people think like, oh, it's a rental car, I don't want to buy a rental car, it's probably like super used up and crappy, it's actually not true. The way how these companies work, they get huge deals when they buy obviously cars in bulk. I mean, they get wholesale deals. They just use these cars a little bit in their fleet because obviously they want to keep up their fleet new, and then they resell it. For example, when we bought our last car here in America, we bought it from year 2019, so the car was only 1 year old. It didn't have a huge mileage and the price was really good. We basically paid 30% less than we would buy if you just bought secondhand, and the condition was excellent. You wouldn't even figure that it was a used car, so there were no problems with this car. And the good thing when you buy from those rental companies, you can be sure that the car was maintained, because usually they take care of their car. It was washed, the oil was replaced, they took care of and serviced the car and stuff like that. So it's actually much safer to buy a car there from some random people on Craigslist, because you don't know how those people took care of those cars. So buying from Enterprise and stuff like that is actually quite safe and a smart way to save some money. Never buy new cars. If you talk about household items, kitchen items and stuff like that, lots of stuff you can buy on eBay. For example, last time when I was buying Christmas decor, I decided to buy vintage and secondhand. I bought like really cool stuff on eBay for very cheap price. Also, you can buy things on Etsy sometimes, because they have also vintage and secondhand section. For example, my teacup came from there, and other things sometimes you can find there. Not much, but there is certain things. In terms of secondhand books sites, I actually don't really buy physical books. I bought few, like manuals and like textbooks. I bought them from Amazon, because there you can actually find secondhand books that are sold by third party, not by Amazon itself, but third party. And also there are dedicated website like used books or secondhand books, something like that. I will again list the names of this website somewhere here and in the description below. I think that's it for today. I guess I shared all the websites. If there is anything I didn't mention or any other cool services, for example, I know in Canada they have this really awesome service that's called Bunz. I think that's how you pronounce, B-U-N-Z, and people can actually swap things. For example, if I have a certain item, I don't like, let's say I have a couch, I don't want it, but I want like a table instead, I can actually post it to this Bunz and say that, guys, if you need it, let me know, and then you can swap it. I actually installed Bunz, but here in San Francisco it didn't really work for me. People didn't post much stuff, or maybe at the time when I tried it, it didn't happen. If you know any similar like apps here in America or anywhere in the world, please share in the comments and will be good to know. I guess that's it for today, and if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I don't know, leave some comments so I can actually read what people think of my videos. Since this channel is still small, sometimes I'm lacking the comment action, and I feel like I'm talking to myself, which is probably true most of the time. Anyway, see you in my video. I will be posting something next week, and bye bye.